Hey everybody, how we doing? It's Scott back again with yet another video. So if you follow me or my fiance Sam on social media or saw my last video, which I'll have linked right up here, you know that we recently adopted a beautiful little pit bull named Sully. So Sully's my first dog ever, and while becoming a dog dad has been an amazing experience so far, it hasn't come without its own unique set of challenges. So we've had him for about a month now, so I wanted to share some of the things that I didn't expect or maybe I didn't fully understand before we adopted him that I've since learned. If any of you are thinking of adopting a puppy or just a dog in general, I really hope that this helps you out. So the most important thing to know about owning a dog in general, especially a puppy, is that it completely changes your life. If you're not able to accept that, if your life is perfect the way that it is, if you're too busy, anything like that, get a cat, get a fish, get a turtle. Those pets don't require as much time and love as a dog does. Now, I knew that our lives would be different when we got Sully. Since I've never owned a dog, I wasn't quite aware of how much my day-to-day schedule would actually be affected. Now, I know this is something that gets better as the dog gets older, they start to become more independent, but right now it is a huge time burden, and so if you are thinking of getting a dog, especially a puppy, make sure that you have the appropriate amount of time in your schedule to take care of the puppy. This means taking them out to go to the bathroom very often at this point, once every couple of hours usually, and being able to monitor them when they are awake. That means being in the same room. Sometimes you can get a little bit distracted by something, but in general you have to really be there. The only reason why I'm able to come in here is because he's asleep right now. Now you have to pay such close attention to them because they're just like babies. They literally have no clue about anything. Like, that sounds mean, but they genuinely don't understand anything. They have no idea how anything works. They don't know where to go to the bathroom. They don't know what's a toy and what's not a toy. They don't know what's food and not food. And they have no real frame of reference for what acceptable behavior is and isn't. And that's where you step in. I've heard people say that human babies are easier because they don't start actually being able to move around on their own until they're like 9 months old. Whereas this little guy over here is quite mobile. In the time it takes for me to go move my laundry from the washer and dryer, he can go from being the most docile, adorable, loving thing in the planet to going to go poop in the corner. Now that's something I knew before we got Sully. Like, if you had asked me, does that puppy that you're about to adopt know the difference between his toy and the TV remote? And I would have said, of course he doesn't. We'll just teach him what is what. In practice, that's a lot easier said than done. It is 100% your job to show them how everything in their life works. You have to encourage good behavior and discourage the bad behavior. And that means that training is so incredibly important. And it goes so much farther than commands like sitting and laying down and everything like that. It goes to all of their behavior. You can control what your dog plays with, what your dog eats, how your dog reacts when they see a human or another dog. Proper training gives you that control, which equals freedom to live your life without constantly having to be watching your dog. Now, Sully's been to exactly one training session, and they taught him some really good habits, and they taught us some really good commands for how to get him to walk on his leash a little bit better. And I can already say that it's worth it because it's incredibly different the way that he walks on his leash now. He's much more obedient. It's a lot easier to keep his attention and to move him from things that he shouldn't be getting into. I'd really recommend looking at any sort of puppy class, especially from a really well-known trainer, or honestly, we bring him to PetSmart, and they have some very good trainers at our location, and they seem to do a really good job. If you can't afford to or don't want to go to puppy classes, at least put in the time and effort into not only learning these commands and learning these behaviors, but following up and maintaining them over time. And don't forget that any sort of behavior problems are either caused by things that happened before you got them, or they're caused by problems with their training, which in that case would be your responsibility. Now, some of those were a little bit heavy and they don't sound very fun, and being a dog dad so far has been overwhelmingly positive. So let's throw on the dog dad hat and let's talk about some of the awesome things I didn't expect. There we go. So at our apartment, there's this big old dog park, and we've had the opportunity for most of the past month to bring him down there every night. We call it the puppy social hour. And it's really awesome because one, it's given us the chance to meet a lot of really awesome other dogs. We're definitely dog people, and we love some of the other dogs that are out there. In my next video, you'll see the baby corgi whose name is Kevin. Yeah, stay tuned for that one. Two, it's also helped us make a lot of new friends, either through dog owners that are down there with their dogs and we just get to chatting, or sometimes just random passers-by who decide to say, hey, can I pet your dog? And we say, yeah. And that's what I didn't really expect. Everybody wants to stop and pet him. He's so cute. How could you possibly say no and be so mean to somebody like that? At this point, it happens so frequently that if somebody just walks by us and doesn't stop to pet Sully, he gets so upset. He gets just so riled up and jealous, really. So if your puppy is cute like Sully, plan on setting aside some extra time on each walk to account for the fact that you're going to be stopped by multiple people. Also plan on setting aside a little bit of time for interaction with other dogs. This is really good for socialization and can really help when they grow up to be more comfortable playing around other dogs and to be a little bit nicer when they play. Now, sometimes it can be really inconvenient if I'm in a rush, or this is the 20th person to stop us on a, what was supposed to be a 10-minute walk, or if he's trying to go to the bathroom and distractions will just distract him from going to the bathroom. But overall, though, it's a bonus because it helps Sully become socialized, and so I'm a big fan of this so far. Lastly, I absolutely knew that we were going to love whatever dog we adopted. There was no question about that. I really don't think I'd be physically capable of not loving a dog that was mine. But I had absolutely no idea how much I was going to fall in love with a stupid dog and how much joy he was going to be bringing into my life. Sorry, look at him. He was eating some dirt. Sure, it's obviously a ton of work to raise a dog. I've only been doing it a month and I hardly can wake up some mornings because I'm so tired. But holy crap, is it worth it. So if you have the time to train them, a good place for them to live, and you want the best, most loyal, most loving friend you'll ever have, absolutely adopt that dog. I'll actually link below in the description the service we use to find Sully. It's called Pet Finder. I'm sure any of you who have adopted a dog before know what it is, but it's basically Google for pet shelters. So you can go on there and it'll show you all of the dogs and all the shelters in the area. You can filter by different breeds, you can filter by age, and you can go through and read a brief description. And when you find a dog that you fall in love with, they point you to the right direction to begin that adoption process. Of course, if anybody has any questions, big or small, about adopting a puppy or taking care of a puppy, or even specific questions about Sully, because I know he's that cute, feel free to drop them down in the comments. You can DM me on any of my social media, which I'll have all in this general area. And please like this video if you want to see more content with Sully in it. Leave any suggestions you have for specific things you want to see with him down in the comments. I have a few more things planned with him specifically already, and feel free to subscribe to the channel because then you'll be able to see all of the Sully. So thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll see you in the next one.